Hey there, beautiful people. I know this is horrible. I still don't have a podcast editor right now, and I'm still a little on the brokish side financially, especially after blowing up my life and moving to Mexico. So this is a little raw again, and I know I said that I was going to come back and start recording again in May, and then May came around and I hadn't made any kind of an update, so I thought I better update. So let's start off with the first thing. Welcome. I'm Heather Gray, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, someone who's overcome 27 years of undiagnosed Lyme disease, reversed 2 autoimmune diseases, lost over 100 pounds, detoxed mold, had cavitation surgery, got rid of heavy metals and parasites, and now I lead a vibrant, amazing, energy-filled life. So I want to give you guys a couple updates. I think the last time my last update was talking about how going through a divorce and, kind of the troubles with that and why I was putting a pause on the podcast. Well, things got not great with him. We tried to live together as roommates. We tried to be friends. I tried. He wasn't being very nice, so I had to ask him to leave. And then 2.5 weeks later, my cat died very suddenly, very unexpectedly, very tragically. I found out it was a rare form of spleen cancer, very aggressive. It was horrible. She left me with like a $2,000 vet bill on top of somebody who was already broke. I did raise a little money for that, not all of it. So I'm sitting in this 4-bedroom house by myself, lonely, heartbroken. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't take this anymore. I'm done. And I put out on Facebook, who do I know who lives in Mexico? Because I've been seeing the seeds planted for Mexico over the past 6 months. And somebody who I'm not even sure we had met in real life before, but I did know her through the Mindshare Mastermind. And she pipes up and she goes, I live in Puerto Vallarta. And I'm leaving for Spain from May to August if you want to come stay. Amazing. Week and a half, I put up everything for sale. I donated it. I trashed it. My car, everything gone. In a week and a half, we're talking about a 4-bedroom house. Because when my ex left, he really only left with the stuff that was his, not the stuff that we accumulated together. So I got to deal with that all the majority by myself. It was exhausting. I was heartbroken. That week and a half was such a blur. I'm still not sure how I made it. But I did. Everything turned out to be more expensive than I thought, of course. I ended up having to throw some stuff away at the airport because I had already paid for an extra checked bag, which made it more expensive. And then all 3 of my bags were overweight. So that was fun. Finally made it through security. Trip to Puerto Vallarta was smooth. Picked up at the airport was smooth. The place that I'm staying at looks a little rustic. I mean, I'm just going to say it. The area of town looks kind of ghetto, really run down. So when I pulled up, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But you get inside the place, it's clean. It's small, it's cute, it's fine. I'm surrounded by 20 of like the most amazing taco trucks in all of town. So literally like 12 steps out my door, I'm surrounded by amazing food at a ridiculous price. So that's pretty amazing. And then there's an incredible fresh market called the California Market just across the street. And then just down the street a little bit more is my gym. And then down the street a little bit more is a Walmart, which cracks me up because I totally banned Walmart at home and now I'm shopping here. But I'm trying to learn where other things are so that I don't have to shop at Walmart anymore. I'm not a fan. I don't recommend it. Things are different here. I know, Captain Obvious. I mean, besides the pesos to dollars, the Celsius from Fahrenheit, the kilograms to miles, Spanish to English. So nothing's the same. Nothing. My head hurt like the first week and a half that I was here. I started taking Spanish class twice a week. because there is a huge movement that I'm seeing called Gringos Go Home. There's a lot of expats, people migrating from Canada and America because of our broken economy and system to live in Mexico because it's more affordable, vibrant, and they're talking about it being another form of colonization. So I'm very aware that not everybody wants me here. And when I go to the store, my anxiety level is a little high, pretty stressed out because I don't want to upset anybody. I want to be respectful. So I'm trying to learn the language, muy rápido. I'm not learning it fast enough, for me, to be conversational yet. But it is amazing how much faster I'm learning it here than when I was even doing Babel back home, so learning, probably at least 5 to 10 new words a day. Maybe that's a little much, but, and then hearing them over and over and over again because you're immersed in it is really helpful. The people here in Puerto Vallarta are absolutely incredible. The food is mind-blowing. The beauty is unbelievable. And you know what? The heat doesn't bother me that bad. Right now, I'm during the low season is what they call it. So summer, really hot, humid. I think being a regular sauna person for the past 5 years has helped me train for this Olympic style heat. So I sweat profusely and I'm pretty sticky, but I'm still active. Oh my God. And I'm eating I eat 1 meal a day, but when I do eat, I eat. And I'm eating corn every day. And I've lost like 12 pounds, I think, in 2.5 weeks, just because, well, one, I don't have a car. So I'm a lot more active walking. I do about 10 to 17,000 steps a day. Plus then I go salsa dancing at night, which I can do like 4 or 5 nights a week if I wanted to. So that's been incredible. Like 3 of my biggest loves, food, the ocean, salsa dancing. There's music everywhere. It's so amazing. Downsides, time down here works differently. I don't know how else to put it. People who know. But it's very humbling. Let me put it that way. I didn't realize, I guess, what a perfectionist kind of type A personality I was still being and how small I made my life and everything had to be blah, 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 so structured. And you get here and it's just like, you got to let all that shit go. You got to let all that shit go, or it's going to drive you absolutely batshit crazy. You've got to learn how to go with the flow. And that's tough for me because I'm very regimented, blah, 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 blah. So that's being humbled, being corrected every single day about my pronunciation, about how I do things, about how things work around here. I struggle with being corrected. It's part of my type A personality. I try to learn everything I can to be the best that I can. So nobody ever has to correct me for anything. Like that's the way I've set my life up for my whole life. Right. That's a horrible way to live. Very constricted because it's damn near impossible to try to prepare for everything. And even like here, I thought I was prepared and I thought I had been watching and I knew what I was doing, but I got publicly chastised and shamed on a bus by the bus driver, which actually made me cry. I need to get a little tougher skin. I think it's just because I've been through so much lately that I'm just kind of raw and vulnerable to begin with. Normally, I probably wouldn't let shit like that bother me, but it did. But like I said, it's just a great reminder that I am not in control at all. Leaning more on my faith, energy, universe, God, all the above, and just like I said, just going with the flow and seeing what unfolds. I've had some really weird, like awesome plans that just kind of all fell apart, and then new, more amazing plans came about of it. So I'm learning how to relax and to trust that, which has been hard for me. So what a great lesson here, right? All right, let's talk about some of that weight loss. So some of you know I've been following that I've been doing microdosing GLPs. The first one that I was on, semaglutide. Side effects weren't great. The weight loss was slow. Then we tried retatrutide, which has not been FDA approved yet, but you can still get it. I'm only taking 0.3 dose. I think even like the starting dose on Ozempic is like 0.5. So I started off very, very slow, very slow. I've lost now, I think 35 pounds, but since October of last year, so slow. I'm getting ready to, I'm just kind of on a maintenance dose right now because I'm at my goal weight. I'm at where I want to be. It's definitely helped that I've been so active here and sweat. So wonderful detox. Make sure, when you're doing these things that you don't start off too fast, lose too much weight too fast, and that you make sure that you're weight training. Like you got to make sure that you build, look at that. You got to build muscle. Especially as we get older, it's good for our bones. It's good for everything. It's going to help protect us from falls and breakages and all that fun stuff. But that is one of the side effects of some of these drugs is that, muscle wasting. And so there is a way around it. And starting slow and low, making sure you get enough protein in your diet and make sure that you're living heavy shit. So go live some heavy shit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to update you on because there's so much that I've been wanting to say, but these little video clips that I'm putting out, on social media, they're just not long enough. And then I have to like upload it to YouTube and then they don't get as many views. But like I said, so right now I'm just learning how to go with the flow. I've had my ass handed to me a few times, learning how to be humble. At some point I do want to look at getting a visa. Look into getting temporary residency for now. I love it here. I'm having a blast. The people are incredible. I'm getting invited out almost daily. I have plans with people multiple times a week to where there were times back home, 4 or 5 days would go. I wouldn't leave the house, wouldn't see anybody. And it was so lonely and so heartbreaking. And here, even if I am just by myself, I go to the beach, right? I go shopping. Some of the clothes, they're so beautiful and very well priced. I'm still having a hard time finding natural fibers. It's probably one of the other, big little hangups that I have is just trying to find, a clean makeup line, find natural fibers. I think I found a place where I can order supplements. And there's ways around this. I think there's Mexican mule companies. I can also go back to the States, kind of stock up, come back. That's what I hear some people doing. I'm gonna have to go back at some point anyway before November, which is when my passport is up. Because you have to start the visa process in the state that you live in before you get to Mexico. So damn, I wouldn't have been able to get it done before I left anyway. That week and a half was so insane. So I've still got a few more months left. I don't normally have my hair up like this, but boy, this time of year is absolutely futile to try to do your hair because you just sweat and sweat and sweat. But yeah, it was funny having to deal with a little guilt for liking it here so much, having so much fun, because that's just not been my MO in life. My life has been struggle. My life has been hard. My life has been lonely. And here it's vibrant and I'm having fun and my face hurts from just being happy. It is weird. And also isolating, being surrounded by people and you don't understand what they're saying. Like I said, again, if you've never spent some serious time in a foreign country, I highly recommend you do so. I think it gives everybody a new perspective on how immigrants, what they go through, and maybe we could be a little nicer to each other and treat immigrants as people and not as problems or plagues or bullshit. Like I said, they've got a huge movement here called Gringos Go Home because of the whole colonization thingy. And there was one person I got into it with lightly online about that. And I told him, I said, I completely understand. We have a lot of Californians and Texans that are selling their McMansions and moving to Colorado and driving up the price of real estate. Like, I get it. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not one of those uberly rich people. I was on welfare back in the States. So I'm not that person here driving up or displacing anybody. I'm just trying to live my life, to keep my head above water. And it's sad and sickening that I'm not able to do that as well in my own country, that I'm on welfare in my own country, that the price of living and everything has just gotten so broken that I had to go to another country to do so. It turns out I'm also going to be a medical tourist while I'm here. I didn't expect. So some of you know I had some soft wave therapy done from plantar fasciitis on my left foot, totally healed it up. It's amazing. I can't find anybody with soft wave therapy here, but I did find somebody with shock wave therapy. Now, the soft wave cost me close to 2,000 American dollars. A few treatments on my knee and then getting all the treatments that I needed on my left foot. So I come here, I find shockwave therapy. She's going to do my right foot because it's starting to go, and both my knees. All the treatments together, 200 US dollars. Like, my mind is blown. Here, I'll actually be able to afford to take care of myself the way that I need to get the help that I need to, and maybe get a massage, and maybe get chiropractic or acupuncture, and maybe still go out to dinner with friends. And you know what I mean? Like, actually, the way that I've been living, especially for the last 5 years, all my money goes towards just purely surviving. And after a while, it gets exhausting. It gets a little discouraging. I'm not going to lie. And don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that I've had the money that I've had to be able to take care of myself the way that I need to. And I want to start thriving. I don't want to just survive anymore. So how great that I might actually get that chance to do so here in Mexico. Also I've got about $5,000 worth of dental work that still needs to be done. So I'm going to have that shopped out here pretty soon as well. So there's kind of an update where I've been, what's going on. Hope you all are well. Stay tuned. Hopefully within the next month or so, I can start putting out regular episodes and actually have the nice bumper and everything on it. So bear with me as I'm kind of going through these growing pains. Stay tuned and have a healthy day.